It's been a wretched fucking year, and I can't wait for it to be over with.
Should old acquaintance be forgot and never
Welcome back to the shows from Taves podcast. This is Time is Everything in Memoriam 1, Mercedes Kearney. Uh, I should mention that for anybody who has listened to any other episodes that I've done in the Timing is Everything series, that know it's a chronological order of 1 through uh, whatever. And I, I'm not doing that with this one. This is a totally separate thing, and unfortunately, I have a feeling that there's going to be more of these to do as time goes on. Um, that said, for anybody who's been listening to the other podcasts in the Time is Everything series, my dad is back in good health, thankfully, and is back at doing cardio rehab, and is now getting ready for his holiday break come December 20th. He's off starting then until the new year. So that that's that update. The reason why I'm not a little bit more jovial and cracking jokes at this is that this is a rather somber occasion. I will get into some sarcastic remarks a bit later in this episode, but I wanted to start off by simply reading something that I had to write to get my thoughts together on this subject. A friend of mine died, unfortunately, at the age of 25 in a car crash. Drunk driver was driving, and I will get into that as part of the um, the story. And I just wanted to put it out there that this is to remember my friend and tell the news story of what happened and set the record straight on a few things that have been going on online that myself and a few other people find, um, yeah, I guess you could say distasteful, for lack of a better phrase. Um, Certainly, that seems to be the most appropriate version of that sentiment. Anyway, my friend that died was named Mercedes Kearney. Uh, I've known her since the 7th grade and for a spell of time between my junior year of college and almost current day. We talked pretty much every day on the phone, sometimes in the middle of the night. And I'll get into that a little bit, but let's start with what I had prepared so I don't completely lose it on this podcast, which would be amusing for listeners, but not so much for me. Um, Here we go. What do you say when you lose someone close to you? George Carlin's 7 words comes to mind pretty quickly. However, since I am endeavoring to keep this family friendly, I will refrain from explaining what those are. So, as I said, what do you say when someone close to you dies? Why? It was the first question that came to my mind when I lost a very close friend recently. Mercedes Kearney was her name. This is 2013. She got married a few years back, 2009. Her name changed to Mercedes Leary. In full disclosure, she was in the process of a divorce when she died, so her name would have gone back to Kearney. At least that was her intentions. I called her Merce. Most people did actually that knew her, so let's go with that. Here is a news story from myfoxboston.com about what happened. So this is the factual side of things. This was posted on November 25th at 6:01 p.m. and updated shortly thereafter. Um, Again, myfoxboston.com, and this is Gail Waterhouse that posted this, or was the author of it, I guess. I'm not really sure. Boston. Hyde Park man crashed a car early Saturday morning and fled the accident scene, leaving his passenger to die, according to Suffolk uh, County District Attorney Daniel F. Conley. Gregory, I'm not even going to try to pronounce his last name, I'll spell it for you. Colandris, age 22, was driving with a suspended license and was out of jail on his own recognizance after a September drunk driving charge. At around 2:30 a.m. on Saturday, he Dedham police and firefighters responded to a crash on Dedham Parkway in Hyde Park, just over the border. Excuse me. Police found a 2005 Toyota Tundra that crashed into a tree, and 25-year-old Mercedes Leary unresponsive in the passenger seat. That was her car, for the record. There was no one in the driver's seat, and the police brought in a canine unit to try and find the driver. After speaking to Leary's family around 8:30 a.m. Saturday morning, police used her cell phone and call log to find Calandros, I guess we can call him. Conley said officers went to his house on Del Terrace, where he answered the door with blood on his head and clothes, smelling of alcohol, according to Conley. Calandros was arrested and blew a .037 into a breathalyzer at the state police barracks. He was arraigned Monday in West Roxbury District Court on charges of operating under the influence and leaving the scene of an accident causing death. A judge ordered he be held on $50,000 cash bail and revoked his bail on the September drunk driving case and an earlier assault and battery case in Brockton. Calandros will return to court on December 23rd. So after reading this, the next question is, why did this happen? I will never get an answer to that. The next question is, how did this happen? That question has almost fully been answered. There are only a few questions left in that line of questioning. In that one, uh, never be answered. How was it that this jerk was driving her car? Why was he driving if he was wasted? How did they meet? Were they old friends? I have an answer to that, but I don't feel it's appropriate to go into it. How does he feel about what happened? I have an answer for that too, and I'll discuss it in a minute. Frankly, the last few questions might have had answers, but I don't care to ever hear them. So now what? I'll never be able to talk to Merce on the phone again. And I will never see her again. I will never hang out with her again, watch movies with her, exchange Christmas cards or birthday presents, etc. The list of never again and never will happen now are endless. What is important for me and everyone who is left behind is to remember the good times with Merce. Believe me, there are plenty. Everyone has his own stories. I could go on for hours talking about the phone conversations I had with Merce, ranging from Twilight to a funny story from the other day. I won't, though. If you're looking for a reason, most of these stories are quote unquote dirty at one time or another. If you heard any of the other podcasts that I do, you know I don't mind stories that are sexual or jokes or double entendres or whatever. But out of respect for the family and Merce, uh, that's as far as I will go. Yeah, I know the idea of a podcast is to ramble on about this stuff, but I'd rather be collected and clear about remembering Merce. This is not easy for me to do. As I read this, the memories come flooding into my head. I will say this though. Merce asked me 2 years ago, 2011, to make a movie about her. She wanted a documentary. I told her how much work goes into a documentary, interviewing multiple people, getting cutaway footage, sculpting a story, etc. And she agreed with me that a scripted movie would be better. To date, I have not written that movie yet. I have an outline for it, but I have not written it yet. I promised her I'd write it though. As a friend, I feel I owe her that promise. As such, I will get around to writing the script soon. It might be 5 scripts down the road, but I will get to it soon. And I expect everyone listening to this to hold me to that promise. I will write the script very soon. Okay? That's my prepared information and what happened. Now, I said that I would get into a point here. How does he feel about what happened? The driver of the car that got arrested and is being held in jail. My understanding from a reliable source is that he claims that he tried to help her, but he was unable to, and ergo fled the scene. Uh, I agree with my source for that uh, it helps if he did indeed try to help her, but where the guy screwed up was running away from the scene of the accident, and that's completely unforgivable as far as I am concerned, and my source was concerned as far as I can tell. I cannot speak for anybody else, I can only speak for myself, so that's about as fair and balanced. First time you'll hear that outside of Fox News. that's about as fair and balanced as I can be on the subject. Uh, I should mention what happened with the funeral and the wake. Um, Basically, the day that Merce died, I found out about it on uh, Facebook through her cousin's posting on there, and then I went back through reading the other posts and determined that she died and that there was going to be a wake held on December 1st, which was a Sunday, and the funeral on December 2nd, which was a Monday. Excuse me. And so the wake was held uh, in South Weymouth, and the funeral was held in Hingham. Uh, I was only able to attend the wake, and I feel terrible about it. I should have gone to the funeral. I wish I could have, but due to extenuating circumstances of my dad having cardio rehab that morning of the funeral, the December 2nd, Monday, December 2nd, and my mom having sustained some kind of injury that's still a bit of a mystery as to what it was. Um, she needed to be heavily medicated and could not drive for uh, that, let alone sit very well. So that kind of put a hole in going to the funeral. So if any family members of MERS or friends of MERS for that matter are listening to this, I would like to offer my condolences properly, above and beyond what I was able to do at the wake. I am really sorry for your loss. It's a terrible thing what happened. And I'm sure we can all agree that I hope this guy gets it. The guy that was driving. That aside, I am very sorry that I was not able to attend the funeral. Again, I would have been there, but I had uh, some stuff blocking my path from being there, as I do not drive myself because of my learning disability. So rather than wallow in self pity, I'm going to try to endeavor to clean up a few loose ends that I've found on the internet. I am friends with, and friends being in quotations here, with Julia Barnacle on uh, Facebook, and I don't hold anything against her. She's a decent person, all things considered. She's a decent person, and I just happen to know that she wasn't as close as I was, or some other people that I know were, to Merce. As a matter of fact, she wasn't close at all. She has been posting since she found out about the accident, which was like a day or two after the fact, that she was very close with Merce, and that she could talk to her for multiple hours on the phone and stuff. Now, mind you, other people were saying this stuff as well, and people that I know through talking to Merce that were actually doing that, as opposed to Barnacle who was claiming it. I won't go so far as to say how Merce felt about Barnacle, being that I don't want to offend anybody, but I will reiterate the point with some emphasis needed that they were not close. Julia said that she'd hung out with her outside of school. Flat out not true. She did not hang out outside of school with Merce. Let's make that crystal clear. There's also a poem that was posted by a teacher that I had at Willow Hill, Jonathan Burns. It's a beautiful little poem, and I believe it sums up nicely both Merce and the feelings surrounding her untimely passing that anybody that was close to her would feel. Julia posted a couple of comments on this poem. One of them was nice, just saying that it moved her to tears. And there's another one where she reiterated the sentiment and then went on to say, I think Meredith would have liked the poem. The poem was about Merce. If you meant to say Merce, it's a far cry from Meredith. If you meant to say Mercedes, which is the way that Merce preferred to have her name pronounced, although she also went by Mercedes. So Mercedes, Merce, Mercedes, whatever you want to call her. How do you get that confused with Meredith? If you're that close that you can't remember the name, much less fix something that you put online that incorrectly names the late person. I know I'm not the only one that took offense at that, but I wanted to point it out. That's the second point of contention in this whole thing. The next point of contention is a little bit simpler. I understand people cannot always get to a wake or a funeral because they are busy with stuff they're doing. Work, family crisis, school, whatever. I understand that. Believe me, I understand that. What I do not understand is when somebody can get a ride in a private limo or car of some kind to and from every place that they damn well want to go to: sporting events, movie premieres, multiple trips to different parts of the country, etc., 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 to and from the significant other's house. I cannot understand how somebody that has that kind of capability to get around uninhibited by not driving can not go to the funeral or wake of somebody that they claim to be dearest friends with. I do not understand it. I do not claim to understand it. And ergo, I would like to say, Julia, what were you thinking when you said you were very close to Merce? given that you could not go to the wake or the funeral because you couldn't get a ride, although you could get a ride to everywhere else that you wanted to be. Okay? I trust that everybody that has talked to me about this and has heard me say what the hell on these points will understand. I'm not saying this with any malice. I'm not saying this with any ill will. I'm not saying this with the intent to hurt anybody. I am merely clearing up some facts and saying, really? You're such good friends that you called her the wrong name and you couldn't go to the wake or the funeral? Never mind the fact that in addition to that, Julia got the laid to rest date wrong. Merce was laid to rest on Monday, December 2nd. She posted on Monday, December 2nd that Merce was laid to rest on Sunday, December 1st. Get your damn facts straight. They're on the internet. It's not that hard to go look at it before you post something. God knows I did that for this podcast. I checked everything. I wrote things down. I compiled thoughts, lists, pictures, everything, so that I can accurately talk about what's going on. Okay? And I want to say something else for the record. I know that Merce would be laughing mercilessly at what I'm doing right now. She would have wanted to be a bit more sarcastic and a little less forgiving sounding, but she would have been laughing mercilessly at what I'm doing. Possibly a Freudian phrase there with mercilessly. Now, I should mention that I have had multiple conversations with Merce about similar ideas to what I just did, and the sentiment was always the same. Oh, you should call her to the carpet, you should call him to the carpet, whatever, depending on who I was talking about. And it was always her wanting to have me be a bit more of a loudmouth brute than I feel that I am. So, in my last act of defiance on the subject, I am trying to tone down the annoyance that I have with the situation and go with factually there are a lot of screw ups that do not add up to being very close to somebody. That's my last thought on the subject. I don't want to belabor the point above and beyond what needed to be said. At the funeral, Merce, or rather at the wake, I didn't go to the funeral, as I said, and I'm sorry about that. At the wake, Merce had a card that was made about her. It's the In Loving Memory card that they always make for the deceased. God, I hate that word. It's true, but I hate that word. It says on the front of the card, it says In Loving Memory, Mercedes Lee Kearney, June 7th, 1988 to November 23rd, 2013. And there's a beautiful picture of her from when she was graduating high school on the front. I feel that it is only appropriate to say that this podcast is dedicated in loving memory to Merce. And I would like to leave you, if I can get through this little poem that was on the back of the card, with the with this for the final thought. Excuse me. I've developed a dry cough since being sick back in October, and still lingers. Hopefully I'll be able to get that under control before the holiday podcast, which I still have yet to finish recording, but it's being edited. That'll be the next one. So there's the plug. I've done the plug. Now I want to leave you with this thought. And I believe, if I remember correctly, Merce picked this out as one of her favorite quotes. And it really does capture the way that she was. So I want to leave you with this and tell you once again, I will be writing that script soon, and hopefully I'll be able to capture the same kind of thing. But we shall see. I honestly feel that I could not do her justice in the script, but I will do my darndest. That said, here's the poem on the back of the memory card, or in memory card. Do not stand at my grave and weep. I am not there. I do not sleep. I am 1,000 winds that blow. I am the diamond glints in the snow. I am the sunlight on ripened grain. I am the gentle autumn rain. When you awaken in the morning hush, I am the swift uplifting rush of the quiet birds in circled flight. I am the soft star that shines at night. Do not stand at my grave and cry. I am not there. I did not die.
Should old acquaintance be forgot and never run